All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
As we conclude our thoughts with regard to Councilmember McIver and loss to this community with his passing, I also just wanted to recognize him as someone who was very constructive in the way in which he went about his business, and even when he was forcefully advocating a point of view. But I do, Mr. Chairman, I would ask that a point of personal privilege that I be recognized at this time. I have to discuss the appropriate standards and procedures that are expected in conducting our public hearing. And if you would indulge me, I would like to ask a question. So.
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As members know, we have had repeated examples during the Council's public hearings on proposed ordinances of persons testifying who have chosen to speak not about the substance of the ordinance, but instead about other matters. And the other matters I have included their desire for a different process for committee consideration of legislation and general political observations about King County government. I do not believe that these remarks have been germane to the legislation that has been offered or being considered. In addition, these persons at times have argued with the chair's rulings and also have interrupted other speakers or council members and have refused to conclude their remarks when the time limit for testimony has expired. I believe that the council should make it very clear what is required of public testimony and the conduct of our meetings, and also that we should enforce our own adopted council rules. So, Mr. Chair, it would be helpful if you would please describe for the benefit of the members and of the public and to our council members in particular how testimony should proceed and how we will respond if it's not germane or if individuals behave in a disruptive manner during our meetings. That would be helpful to me and I think to the body. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Phillips. I'd be pleased to do so again because on several occasions over the last few years that I've been the chair, I've articulated these guidelines. But essentially our laws regarding the conduct of public hearings require that public testimony be germane to the proposed ordinance or ordinances that are currently before us on any given Monday or special meeting date or time. And this is set forth in Rule number 10 of the Council Rules. Germane means appropriate and relevant. As chair, I am required to, by Rule 2, preserve order and decorum here in the King County chambers. In the interest of efficiency, I am authorized to impose time as well as subject limits for testimony and comment given by the public and members of the council. I am also required to discourage activities that are dilatory or disruptive to our proceedings or our meeting place, the chambers. For some time now, testimony by some individuals during the public hearings on ordinances has become disruptive to the order of the meeting and to our deliberations. I wish to inform members of the public, as well as you all as my fellow council members, that persons attending our meetings shall not be allowed to disrupt our meetings unnecessarily in the future. Each speaker must speak to the substance of the ordinances before us, and comments must be germane and relevant to our discussion. Comments that are directed, for example, not at the substance of the ordinance before us, but instead are about our procedures for the committee consideration of legislation or our general political observations about county government, are not germane to a proposed ordinance and won't be allowed in the future. If a person testifies on a subject that is not germane to the legislation, I will admonish or remind that speaker that if he or she does not speak to the substance of the ordinance before us, I will rule the speaker out of order, and I have done that many times, and require that the speaker to either speak directly to the ordinance or return to his or her seat. If the speaker does not comply with my ruling, I will put the meeting into recess and direct a marshal to escort the speaker to his or her seat, or I may direct the officer to escort the person out of the chambers if they will not readily be seated. I will take similar action if any member of the public continues to speak after their time limit has expired, or speaks audibly or makes any disruptive noise either during the testimony by another person or while any other council member or council staff is speaking. Does that satisfactorily address your question, Councilmember Phillips?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you for reviewing that for the public and for council members here today. It satisfies my curiosity about moving forward, and look forward to how we enforce the rules going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. See, and that's out of order. No.
Turn them off.